Internet has dropped. Is back on? Yeah. Okay, excellent. Now, what I'm going to do also is to solicit the help of IOM to assist us in putting a better structure in place with the documentation of the Haitians, because we need to document them. We do not know who has left and who is still here. That's also the challenge. So sometimes some of the people who are making noise are people who had left and gone to Martinique and Guadeloupe and just came back. You see? And some of them on their passports, even when they were intercepted, on their passport they had a permanent residency in Dominica. You see? So it is not every situation is not the same. Every situation has its own complex, complexity and tone. So, but we want to. I think it's good for the government to put a good structure in place so that we know how many Haitians we really have in Dominica, how many have citizenship, how many have permanent residency, how many have work permits, how many do not, how many children are here, how many of them are in school. We really do not know, because they come here on vacation, as we know, and we give them 6 months as required as a CARICOM national. So we treat them, and the truth is we're one of the few countries in the Caribbean who welcome Haitians to our shores like this. One of the few countries in the Caribbean. But I think we are to put a better structure in place, and we'll be soliciting the help of the IOM to assist us in putting a good structure in place.
Mr. Prime Minister, a few questions related to sports because we're almost out of time. The highly anticipated indoor facility at Stock Farm, is that still on the cards for 2021?
It's still on the cards. One of the challenges we had was that when it went out on tender, it came back significantly higher than the in-house estimates, significantly higher. And I've been told that the real cost of this is in the foundation, with the basement. So what we mandated the architects to do was to see whether we can make some modifications to the basement, not to compromise the quality of the facility structurally or aesthetically or functionally, but to see whether we can reduce the cost. I was told by the architects and engineers that they're satisfied with some modifications. We can see lowering of the price, but it's significantly higher than what it is. Once they get back to us, then we can go back to tender to see whether we could get a price that is reasonable and within the range that is identified in the in-house estimates.
How about the proposed 400-meter track? The Dominica Athletics Association, the Olympic Committee, spearheading this.
We're prepared to support in this. Obviously, we have to take this thing a step at a time. But I have had discussions with Mr. Billy Doctorov. I think the Olympic Committee is on track. I think they're progressive, and I think we can work with them on this. They have some ideas, and we're prepared to join forces with them. I believe that's the way to go. I think these kinds of facilities are better spearheaded by the Olympic Committee, and we can partner. We can partner because the government building this thing is not to manage it. We don't want to manage these things. We prefer those who are responsible for sports administration, like the Olympic Committee and the various associations, manage these facilities on behalf of the government. So I'm hoping that in the new year we can have further discussions with the Olympic Committee to see where we are and what are the next steps in respect to the track.
PM, I want to ask, in terms of your plans to step down as political leader of the Dominican Labour Party, I know you said that you don't have much more time there, but is that something that you're looking at in the very near future?
When I write to the executive of the party, you will know. But the reality is, I mean, in this or any other business and so on, you have to determine at what stage and what time you hand over. Within the Labour Party, we have a deep reservoir of talent and skills and competencies. So we don't have a dearth of leadership and leadership material and potential. within the party. And January coming, I'll be 17 years as Prime Minister and 17 years as the political leader of my party. So at some point, you have to look at, this is a relay, and nobody expects you to do the 400 meters yourself. You have to pass the baton at some point. And sit in the stand next time, cheering on. So I don't want to tell you, well, next month or 6 months' time, but at some point I have to pass on the baton to somebody else, and I'm hoping that it shall be said, well done, good and faithful servant.
I want to ask...
but one has to recognize, too, that I have sacrificed the greater part of my life to this country. I have had to endure tremendous challenges, natural disasters, and global crises in my time. I always say I feel like Job, tested many times, but never given up hope, never given up faith. And I think the Lord has been good to me, and by extension good to the country. And in these things I am reminded of biblical teachings. The Lord give up, the Lord take away. Blessed be His name. So I came in to serve this country. I came in at age 27. Some people say I am there too long, but the point is, when they were young, they were not prepared to sacrifice for this country. And I gave up my youth. I gave up my late 20s, all of my 30s, all of my 40s to the building of this nation. And there are not many people who will be prepared to do that. There are some people who see this thing as a retirement job, but it is not. And this is a calling, it is a vocation, and if you are not, many are called, but few are chosen. And I thank the Lord for both calling me and choosing me. So at some point, Carla, I will have to write to the executive party saying thank you, but I would like to tender my resignation and put systems in place for the election of a new party leader. And I think it's important for democracy, and it's important for democracy that a prime minister at age 48 can be speaking like this. You have men who in their 60s and fighting to stay there, even when they have lost many elections, and there is no prospect of they winning any in the future. So, and I can tell you, if I keep my name on the ballot, the next one and the next one and the next one, I shall be returned to office as Prime Minister of this country and as the Member of Parliament for Vickers as well. So I'm hoping you put the same question to others.
But let me ask you this one there. Once I get the opportunity, I always ask questions. As you spoke about retirees, some people are saying that you're surrounded by a lot of retirees, quote unquote, that are retarding the growth of the public service, upward mobility. Some people feel that they cannot move because maybe people in top positions, when do you intend to address that situation?
Well, people expect as a young person that I would have no time for older people or senior people. We have to value the institutional capacities and memories of the seniors among us. And part of my evolution in politics and my development in politics, I have been very reliant on senior people. People will be surprised, the senior people who I have consulted over these last 16 years in my development, and these things are also biblical too. So, and so you need both the seniors and the young people to join forces to work for the greater good of the country. if you just cut all the seniors off, how are the younger people going to learn? I think that we have to take the opportunity when we're among seniors to learn, so that when the baton is passing to us, it's not about getting the promotion for myself. It has to be about what is going to be my contribution to my country, and we have to be exemplary in the position that we're in, and not wait for us for when we get to somewhere else. We believe that we're going to be performing. No, if you're not performing where you are, you're not going to perform where you were sent. So I understand this. I mean, it's an issue that people raise, but I don't want people to raise it more from an envy standpoint. You know, we need everybody, all hands on deck, and we cannot tell all seniors to go home and roll your rosaries and watch EWTN every day. People have skills. People have 30, 40, 50, 60 years of talent. I mean, if you have people like Tim Dura here, if he's not part of the journalist fraternity, what's going to happen? You know, how are the younger people who may not have the professional training that he has, how are they going to survive in the environment? So we need people there to continue to pass on. But I know where the comments are, and they're not ill placed, but we have to be mindful that we need the seniors around us to provide us with guidance. And I have been a benefactor, a beneficiary of having seniors around.
But it's a cost for the state. A huge cost.
Well, what is the cost of not engaging them, though? You see, sometimes we look at a cost. What is the cost of not engaging them? You see, so I don't think there's necessarily a cost, but what are the benefits of it? You understand? So, but we must not appear to be advocating, oh, somebody retires, send the person home and give the person a letter, thank you for your service, and no, the person has skills. So we have to have a opportunity for transition where we can continue to seek the wise counsel of the senior people with experience. So when I live at age so-and-so, you're going to tell me I should stay in Vickers on a rocking chair? I'm a senior?
So, Prime Minister, final question for me.
Yeah, I think we're 5 minutes after 8.
Yes.
And so.
So just a quick question. Government has delayed the passage of the Hospital Authority Bill in Parliament after there were some concerns by the Public Service Union. Do you intend, or does government intend on bringing that bill to Parliament anytime soon?
Yes, I mean, it was part of it. We had given ourselves September. Obviously, with the consultations and the questions raised, the concerns raised in the public, that has been delayed. The first phase of the consultative process is completed. The commission is doing some further review with the legal draftsperson. Once they send it to us, we'll be positioned to go to Parliament. On this, we are making other progress with hoping to appoint the CEO very soon. So there's work in progress. Obviously, we do not want to rush or to keep to the schedule rather. And people are raising questions and concerns. Though some of the questions and concerns raised were addressed during the consultative process. But that's how it is. I mean, in Dominica, so sometimes we raise an issue without really articulating the issue, and more in a vexatious manner, rather than to improve on what we're doing, to elevate what we're doing, to make better what we're doing. And so that's the problem we have in Dominica. We say we're for something, but we say we're against it. But we're not giving any reason how to make it better, you know. And so, similar to the international airport, people say I support it, but, you know, and the but they're saying is let's stop it, let's do this, let's do that. It's not to say, well, let's see how we can improve. I am available. This is the skill I have, and that's what it is. You know? So we really have to be careful in Dominica. I am not somebody who like to profess my spiritual views in the public domain, but if we say we're a Christian nation, and even my brothers and sisters in bosom faith, they follow the same principles, you know, what's going to be our contribution? You know, how do we see ourselves as human beings contributing to the greater good of our fellow men? Are we going to continue? Are we going to be negative? Are we going to be constructive? Are we going to put our hand to the plow and to work, or we're going to sit in the spectator seat and say what should be done, or what's going to be your contribution? If everything we say is negative about our country, and we then want our country to progress, it's not the discourse. We have to change the discourse in the country. It's not about me. At some point, I will leave, and what's going to happen? So we, at the end of the day, we'll have a country to build. Let us have a battle of the ideas, and let's discuss policies and programs rather than personalities and sensational things and trying to create mayhem or destruction in the country. And this is my hope and my plea that at some point we'll get to understand what is our individual and collective contributions to country development.
Prime Minister, may I ask just my final question, please?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, quickly. With COVID shutting down the cruise industry practically, and also stifling stayover arrivals, what have you had to reshape your strategy in terms of growing the economy, say, over the next 1 to 3 years? How do you see this?
No, we don't. I don't think we have to reshape it really. I think it's good that we've invested in tourism, and I'm happy that all of the projects that have been financed by the Citizens by Investment Program never stopped doing construction. In Jungle Bay's case, they used the opportunity to complete the project. Tranquility Beach has never stopped. Anichi never stopped. So the projects continue to be in place. I think what we need to do is to ensure that we use the opportunity to enhance our tourism sites, to enhance the attractions that we have in our country, to prepare ourselves for when we reopen. We will reopen. We have to be confident. We have to be faithful. But we also invest in heavily in agriculture. We have the $75 million that we've contracted from the World Bank to have the digital transformation of a country that would open up opportunities, especially for young people, the tech-savvy people who are studying and who are here in Dominica. This is why we have to pursue the construction of international airport. And even people ask, what's the urgency? That's the urgency, creating opportunities for people. There always has to be an emergency. You can't say what is the emergency of building an international airport. It is an emergency because that will help us give greater hope to the young people of a better future. And that will help us sustain the investments that we've made and we're making in tourism, sustain the investment that we're making in agriculture and the services and hospitality. Because I've always said, I would like to see our Dominicans who are in St. Martin and Antigua and these countries come back home, who have helped build these countries, and to our students, not to get caught up in the flashing lights in America, and to come back home and make a contribution to Dominica. But at the same token, we have to give them opportunities. And we have made tremendous strides, but there are some things that we need to put in place, and we're putting those things in place. We continue to put those things in place that would give us this holistic thrust to development and open up new opportunities for people. When you look at the number of small businesses that we have seen in Dominica, it is. We have seen a revolution in the setting of small businesses. And look at what COVID has done. COVID has caused us to be creative, and our innate talent have been able to be extracted. And you see all sorts of new businesses coming in Dominica. People have repositioned themselves. You have guys like Emil DePuta and Robbie Tong, who I believe that, and my advice to them publicly would be to consolidate the business and so on, and to have one rather than two, and they can be on new DHL, they can be on new FedEx, and creating jobs for Dominicans and so forth. So there are a lot of talented people out there who are doing a lot of things. But there are some things that we have to put in place. We have to look at our legislative framework as well. We have to look at our own attitudes towards each other, and to our country. And I think, so our strategy is working. Our strategy is the right one. The policies and programs which we articulated to building the dynamic Dominica, the resilient Dominica, there's no need for us to shift from this. I believe that the existence of COVID-19 has reinforced our resolve and has really exonerated us as a party and a government for the policies that we have been pursuing and the prudent manner in which we have been managing the country's affairs, the responsible manner. People say all sorts of innuendos and so on, but when it comes to the facts, the records, this Prime Minister, this Minister of Finance, this government has an enviable record in the management of the country's funds, the prudent manner in which we have done it. We have been responsive to the needs of people. We've been respectful of people. And one cannot contest that we have done an exceptional job, especially under trying circumstances. I mean, I don't think you put all prime ministers together who came before me, none of them had to deal with the challenges I've dealt with. I mean, from storms to the international financial crisis, the oil crisis, Hurricane Maria, Erica, Ophelia, the December trough, the earthquake in 2005, thereabout. The oil crisis started from 2008, it went all the way to 2015, the financial crisis, and we survived. We survived. And in many quarters, people are defining this thing as almost miraculous, the way that we were able to rebound after Maria, for example, and the way that we have been able to manage COVID-19, both from a financial, economic manner standpoint, and also from a health standpoint. I mean, you don't have to like me or like my party to be truthful, but the fact is, if we are truthful and we subscribe to the biblical teachings, we cannot say that we cannot give this government high marks and high commendation for this. Can we do better? Of course, always. Once you're alive, you can always do better. Can you do more? Of course you can do more. But at the same token, you also need the resources to do more. And in our time, when we make one step forward, a natural disaster pulls us 3 steps backward. And so sometimes you don't have the time to sustain what you have invested. You have to build back. You have to reinstate. So this is why a lot of our debt that we have contracted over the years had to do with responses to natural disasters. Natural disasters. So gentlemen, we have gone, I gave you 1 hour and a half. You have taken 2 hours and 15 minutes.
We could do it more.
We could do it more. But I look forward to coming back. I hope that I have given you responses to your questions. My response is sincere, and I appreciate the respect that you have offered me, and I hope I have responded in like manner. And this is what the consciousness will be. We should never see journalists as the enemy or people having ulterior motives, and I don't. I'm a great respecter of journalists. What I always prefer journalists to do, if I say something, play the clip. Don't paraphrase, because sometimes you may put a comma the wrong way, a wrong place, and it changes the whole meaning of the thing. I'm sure that you were told so in communication class, so that's why people paraphrase, and I, as a school teacher, sometimes paraphrasing may not tell the true story. So if I say something, say it, and then I can respond, and so on. But if you hear me comment about a journalist, or comment is nothing personal. I respect this, and this is part of our democracy. Thank you very much, my friends. Let us go forth and serve our Lord and country. This is our country to build. We may not always agree on everything, but at least there must just be some things we can all agree on. And I'm hoping that we can all agree on the international airport. I have given you some information. We'll continue to give you more. And we're hoping that we can involve everybody in this very important project. Have a wonderful week. May God bless you, your families, and may God bless our country, the Commonwealth of Dominica. Thank you very much. Good night.
The coronavirus disease may spread when people touch contaminated surfaces and then touch their face. Regular cleaning and disinfecting of surfaces that are frequent touch points helps to prevent disease spread. Every home is different, but common high-touch surfaces include door handles, tables and chairs, handrails, kitchen and bathroom surfaces, taps, light switches, phones, computers, and remote controls. Nurse and health educator Sabrina Bernard will share guidelines with you on general cleaning of all types of surfaces, including in the home and in the office, and the type of disinfectant that should be used.
Approved cleaning solutions used to clean surfaces: Lysol liquid, Lysol wipes, alcohol 70% and above, alcohol wipes 70% and above, 10 ounces of bleach in 1 gallon of water, or quarter cup bleach in 1 gallon of water. Surfaces that should be sanitized in the offices are office desks, chairs, keyboards, mouse, phones, printers, scanners, cubicles, doorknobs, and the light switch. For the home, tabletops and countertops, chairs, doorknobs, light switch, toilets, bathrooms, cupboard knobs and holders, and stair rails. How long do COVID-19 last on surfaces? On aluminum, 2 to 8 hours. On surgical gloves, 8 hours. On steel, 48 hours. On wood, 4 days. On glass, 4 days. On paper, 4 to 5 days. And on plastic, 5 days.